So Arman Tsarukyan never ceases to amaze me in both negative and positive ways. But this time a positive way. He is apparently playing mind games with Islam Makhachev, and he's doing so by inviting Adriano Martins to his fight camp. And if you don't know who Adriano Martins is, I don't blame you. He's essentially um, not in the picture MMA wise today, but he was the guy that beat Islam Makhachev when Islam first started out in the UFC. Uh, I originally called it a fluke KO. I'll rear away from saying it was a fluke KO because it was a solid KO. You know, he did knock Islam right the fuck on his ass. Uh, so Islam slipped up, took a L early in his career, but ever since then, he's made legendary growth. I won't even say tremendous growth, legendary growth. And he's become the monster that he is today, taking out legends like Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, and Dustin Poirier, and being the current ruler of the lightweight class, the most entertaining class in the UFC, or the most entertaining weight class in the UFC. But yeah, Arman Tsarukyan is playing some mind games, and I love it. I love it. Arman kind of strikes me as a dumb guy. You know, he doesn't seem to be very smart, especially composure wise. He did like fight a fan on his way to the octagon one time. And I get it, emotions are high and people could be assholes sometimes. But it doesn't warrant doing that, especially on camera. So, it was a really stupid move. But this was a smart move from Arman. Um, Even though, yeah, like big deal, he brought a guy that made Islam lose. Islam, this won't affect Islam. It doesn't fucking matter. Blah blah blah. It still matters. It's still mind games, and even though they may seem like they're so little and may not work, they work. They work. They make you think. A lot of the time, people's thoughts, we can't really control our thoughts a lot of the time. Like if you try your best not to think of the fucking color blue, and somebody's in front of you with a fucking blue towel or robe, swinging the shit in your face, doing all they can to make you think about it, you may not help but think about the damn color blue. So the thought process that we have, a lot of the time we can't help it. So things like that can make an opponent second guess themselves, especially leading up to a fight. So it's best to do it closer to the fight, but still, this is great mind games, even close to when the fight was announced. The fight was just fucking announced by Dana. So uh, Armin's already playing mind games, and I love it. I doubt that Islam will fight back mind game wise. Like Islam will probably say something, but he won't like play mind games with Armin because I feel like the Dagestani people, they don't really do that type of stuff. But the Dagestani people and their grappling are very strong, undefeated grappling style so far. Um, and will Armin be the first one to beat Islam? I doubt it. I think Armin is an incredible athlete, a very hungry fighter, very skillful fighter, striking, ground game, all there, very well rounded. Um, Islam's just on another level. I think Islam will be a step ahead everywhere in that fight. It'll likely go to a decision again. I don't think Islam will knock Armin out. I think Islam will damage Armin to a great amount because of the kicks. Because as great as Armin is and as well-rounded as he is, I'll say the same shit about Ilya. As well-rounded as they both are, they're both 5'7". Islam is what, 5'10"? That's a huge advantage. And it may not seem like a huge advantage, but it is when it comes to fighting because the legs are longer, the feet can reach the head easier for the taller fighter, and that just means it's easier to connect on kicks. And we saw that shit in Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski too. Painful watch for me. I am a Volk fan, but still, the factual evidence in that fight holds up. I think Armin is going to get his lunch ate on the fucking feet. The ground it'll be back and forth, but I still think Islam has enough skill to be a step ahead. And that'll be the fight. I think it'll be an excellent display of grappling from both men. Same with the striking. I'm not saying Arman's gonna come out there and be fucking incompetent. But he's not gonna land as much as Islam, and he's not going to. He may have just as much output as Islam, but I think Islam's going to connect, and he's going to connect more significantly. And by more significantly, I mean like Islam's going to connect at a cleaner rate, with just cleaner shots that land cleaner. And I think it'll largely have something to do with the reach advantage and the height advantage. So yeah, I think Islam, especially given the rate that Islam's been evolving, he's got Khabib, man. Khabib is the most dominant fighter to ever fight in the UFC. And he's got him in his corner, telling him all he needs to fucking know. And he grew up with fucking Khabib. So it's the same stuff, Islam, Arman is screwed. And I think Arman's going to put up a great fight. Don't get me wrong. And I think he's a great athlete and a great fighter. And I think he'll likely fight Islam sometime later for a rematch, because I think Arman has a great chance against many lightweight fighters, especially a handful of them in the fucking top 5, 6, 7 at lightweight. So I just think that Islam is just on another level, man, and he'll show it. He'll show levels when they fight. But respect to both fighters. Both men are incredible athletes, like I said, dominant fighters, dedicated to their religions, which is very inspiring. But at the end of the day, Islam is going to win. It doesn't matter how many mind games Arman wants to play. That's just the fucking facts. But still respect to Arman for these mind games, because they are really creative. Inviting the only guy to beat Islam, to a fight camp. I doubt that Arman fucking learns anything from him and wants to learn anything from him. He just fucking took pictures with him and invited him to the fucking fight camp to mess with fucking Islam. So that's, we could all see that. And it was fun, and it's a smart idea. So respect to Arman for that. But you let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next.